proven techniques based on a series of articles that I wrote that resulted in husband number 2, but I haven't just done it for myself. I've done it twice and for hundreds of clients based on a series of articles. Happily married now. So this is a lot of fun, and Chris and I, we love to have conversations. We really get into it. Sometimes we disagree. Well, we disagree quite a lot of the time, actually, but we politely agree to disagree, and hey, that's what it's all about. And we talk about dating, we talk about where has the romance gone? Where has the romance gone? Because, I am from a generation of women that were serenaded underneath my window, and love letters. I received so many love letters and mixtapes. I don't know if y'all remember about mixtapes.
All right. Let's sound check over here. We're gonna EQ this by ear. See how we sound on the mic.
We are testing the sound. Oh, we disagree quite a lot of the time. Check it. 1, 2, 3. We politely agree to disagree, and hey, that's what it's all about. I don't know.
Can you guys hear me? How is the sound?
Let's sound check over here.
I'm gonna turn mine down. Turn me down a little bit. All right, how does this sound? Can you hear me?
I can hear you beautiful.
Beautiful. Now, go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me? Accidents in the studio. Stay tuned. We're having a little tech check. But what's important is that we're having fun. And last time I was with Chris, we were talking about how hard it is for men to date women in the modern world, and how basically women have either become too aggressive or too independent to the point that you don't even let the guy open the door. And I say, ladies, stop working so hard. Just stand there with a smile until he opens the door. And if he's not a gentleman enough to
all right, how do we sound?
Move on. We sound great. You sound great.
You can hear it?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Go ahead and talk.
I'm talking. We're here talking about love, sex, and relationships.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but I think that we should turn yours up a little bit because you have a very light voice.
Do you want me to speak a little louder?
It's just the levels. All right, so let's put you right around there. That is what I was looking for. Okay, talk.
Okay, we're talking.
There, yeah, okay, perfect. All right, now let's see how that sounds.
All right.
And then, guys, on 5 Star, we're about to go live with Sam. It's going to be a good thing.
Happy Friday, everybody.
That is what I was looking for.
Okay, we're talking.
There we go.
Great. And I have a surprise announcement for you today.
Oh, man. Okay, guys.
It's a cute one.
Let me go ahead and intro you guys in to what we have going on here today. Welcome to 5 Star. You guys are live at the 5 Star live stream. We have Samantha Bessudo Drucker, a comedian, an author, an actress, an all-around talent, a home renovator, somebody who does not stop when it comes to hustling and bringing the magic out here in Florida, New York, Cali. You go to anywhere on your map, you could find Samantha there because she never stops grinding, she never stops traveling.
That's right.
Samantha, today, it looks like we're going to talk about love, sex, and romance. Can you show the people here the book that you wrote? Show the audience.
Of course. This is my book, 90 Days to Husband Number 2, 10 Rules to Find Him, based on proven techniques. And the book is a humorous self-help workbook to help people, especially women, find their love. But really, a lot of the rules apply for men too, like know what you want. Sounds pretty obvious, but you'd be surprised how many men and women really don't know what it is that they want.
Point us the book that way. Now, if you guys don't see, that's actually Samantha on the cover right there, 90 Days to Husband Number 2. And I'm going to actually give you a brief story on how we met. me and my dog Dantes, we were walking along Las Olas. She was in an art show. We got a chance to see her. She was actually presenting at the art show this book right here. And then we linked up, talked about matchmaking, talked about how hard it is to get men into the dating space. And then Samantha actually has a long set of experience in this game, like decades in this game, of seeing the different cultures, seeing how it's changed over time, seeing how sexuality has changed over time. It's crazy how some of the things that we say overlap. And it's also, in my perspective, from like the guy side of things, it's crazy to see what didn't get translated over time into the modern day. But everyone, as you see, the more that we do the show, most people in relationships are pretty much the same. Guys pretty much want the same thing. Girls pretty much the same thing. No matter how like low self-esteem it is or how overly ego self-esteem it is, there's a lot of different things going on here. But I actually got a chance to read Samantha's book before we did one of the first 5-star live streams with Samantha at her house down in Miami. That was an amazing time. Shout out to you and your husband, by the way. You guys have an amazing studio. Well, it's like a apartment condo studio. The whole thing is so badass. We had an amazing time. We killed it out there. Thank you for having us out there, and I couldn't be more than happy to have you on your first time here at the 5-star live stream.
Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you for your hospitality, and it was really my pleasure to have you and Dantes over to my home with my husband to do a little interview podcast from my living room. That was fun. That was a beautiful afternoon, and how great it is that we can be different and talk. Because so many of the conversations out there in the world, there's so much hate. Hello. Oh, Susan Martin. Hello. I'm so glad you joined. So we are, obviously, you're a man, I'm a woman. We are from different generations, and we come from, different experiences, and yet we are able to have these really meaningful conversations, and sometimes we agree to disagree, and I think that's really great.
We're about to get into exactly what those things are, and it's going to be a lot of fun topics today, right? So, do you like your angle? Do you feel like you're looking good, Sam?
Well, I feel like I'm a little bit from the side, but I can move this way. Is that how?
Wherever you feel like you're getting those beautiful camera angles. Guys, we are going to clip up this video. You're going to see it on Samantha's Instagram. She's actually live on the Instagram account right now. Samantha, please go ahead and let us know where we could follow you on Instagram to get all this juicy goodness when it comes to relationship dating and topics and advice that you can give us.
That is so kind of you, Chris. Well, you can find me at SamanthaBessudoDrucker.com. You can contact me at Samantha@socialimage.net. And if you want a copy of my book, you can find it on Instagram and Amazon. And definitely Amazon. You can buy it on my website. And you can also follow me here at Samantha Bessudo Drucker on Instagram.
And if you guys are about to see that behind the scene bonus footage of me, Samantha, her friend, and Dantes just talking. Like, we went in on like a 4-hour podcast, and you guys are going to get it all in the form of clips. You're going to get it on our new channel, the Clips channel, and you're going to get it on this channel. We have 5 channels going strong right now. We have Life of Chris live stream, Hi to Mantez, 5-star live stream, Life of Chris live stream, and of course, watch 5-star clips. Now, one of the things that we were talking about in your studio was many subjects. Like, we went through the beginning and the end of it in great depth and great detail.
Yes.
And it seems like when we spoke about, in terms of love, sex, and romance, when we spoke about sex and flowery language, that just happens to be where the people wanted to see us talk the most. So it's fine if that's what you guys want to see.
Because people always want to talk about sex, or they want to watch other people talk about sex, or listen to other people talk about sex, because people have a problem talking about sex, because it's a difficult conversation to have.
I think it is. And when I was just doing the last episode about male sexuality, it's very hard for the average man to communicate his sexuality. And right before I go into that, funny enough, me and Sam were having the lightest part of this conversation in the elevators now.
Yes.
And we had like a little reaction from a participant who just kind of like listens to our stuff. And just like our natural chemistry when we talk does tend to raise a lot of ears. And I'm hoping that you and me can have a conversation where we have people feel comfortable about talking about sex so they can kind of get what's best for them. Actually, there's a chapter in your book about that where it's like very explorative, you know?
Yes, there is a chapter in my book called Having Difficult Conversations when things start to heat up. So in a relationship, you're dating, and then there's all kinds of hormones and excitement and electricity, and then there's like this heat and this tension that builds. And then I think that before being intimately involved in a physical way with somebody, you should, one, understand what the relationship is, especially if you're a woman, because you don't want to just be indiscriminately intimate with men. In other words, you don't want to. You can
say it here on 5-Star. We don't care. If she's a whore, we'll call her a whore to her face.
Thank you, Chris.
Because a lot of, I'm just saying, if you have a bad past, you might have destroyed your beautiful future. Ladies, we're trying to preserve your purity here on 5-Star. We did a whole episode on how purity is a woman's most forceful, powerful, amazing thing that she brings to the table anytime she wants to enter a relationship.
You can only lose your virginity once, so to speak, but I think that women should have standards, and you don't need to be desperate, and certainly you should not chase a man that's ridiculous, because women, I think, don't often realize that they have some value, and I don't think that they know what they want, or that there's a scarcity fear. So, for example, like we were talking about downstairs and in the elevator in my comedy set, I was talking about some fun facts.
Let me go ahead and talk about that real quick. She also does comedy, and what we're going to do is we're going to link that down in the description below so you guys can see her comedy set. It was super funny.
Thank you.
She actually does stand-up, and the stand-up is based on this book, and I'm really thinking if you guys want to start, ladies, if you hit the wall, you need husband number 2. We're trying to help you, ladies. Listen, you've made terrible choices and terrible decisions your whole life. You kept picking the bad boy. There was always a good man there waiting for you. You hit the wall, now you realize you fucked up. This book is going to get you back in the field. Samantha,
that's right.
Talk about that special.
This comedy special that I did, well, if you ever want to get your heart rate up, to stand up. So I was talking about dating, and fun fact that I was sharing about dating is that by age 50, the number of single men to women is about equal, but by 60, it's a little more than 2 single women for every 1 man, and by 70, it's a little more than 4 to 1. And can you imagine how we have to pick over the leftovers? So that's, a little joke from my set, but the truth in the grain where the humor comes from is that women feel this desperation, right? And because we've had so much breakdown in our culture, in our society, in our support circles of our tribes and our families, that a lot of people don't stay married anymore because they don't either know how to do marriage in a healthy way that works, or they don't know what they want, or they didn't know what they want to begin with, or they thought they knew what they want when they were 20, but now they're 40 and the feeling is not there anymore, or there's a lack of communication, or the intimacy is no good, or something has changed. And yes, we grow, we change. You're not the same person now that you were at 20, right, Chris?
Sexually, yes. Everything else, no.
You see what I'm saying? So we go back to having difficult conversations when things start to heat up, and being able to do that in a sophisticated, elegant way using polite language. And I used to write a lot of articles for divagalsdaily.com. I still do. And for the Times Square Chronicle.
Yeah, you were a full-blown publicist, or like a full-blown article writer. You had columns.
Yes, I was a columnist. I still have my columns, and I wrote a lot of articles about dating, about love, about romance, about the lack thereof, about how chivalry has died, And that drives me crazy. It makes me sad as a human, really, as a woman.
Do you know who killed chivalry?
Women.
That's what I'm talking about. She has the experience to really know throughout all the different you guys are getting a lot of value right now when Samantha walks in the building. She has been through all the different sectors of the current dating field for you to know what you're really tapping into. Yes. Every time you come through, Samantha, it's that sauce.
You gotta know what you want. Step 1. 2, you gotta know what makes you so special. And I mean that both ways. I mean, like, know your worth, know what you bring into a relationship, what your value is, but by the same token, what makes you so great? So if you are saying, well, I want him to be, tall, dark, rich, and handsome, and you are sitting on the sofa watching daytime television in your bunny slippers, maybe it's time to rethink. And in order to attract somebody, nothing worth having comes without effort. I don't care whether it's 6-pack abs or a life partner. It takes work, and you have to know what you want, and you have to put your best foot forward, which means that once you know what you want, you got to get yourself together and become the best version of yourself so that you can attract the best possible partner for you.
Or partners. And I love that point of view, because not only does that make sense, but I like how you kind of framed it before, that like when you want to put yourself out there, you go out like an all-out campaign.
All-out campaign.
And work. A relationship is work, or relationships are work.
Yeah.
It does take an all-out campaign to really attract what you're looking for. And you've been able to do excellent in painting the picture of that and what it would take to bring another person in. And you have it set in 90 days, which I heard someone made this joke the other day. And I don't use dating apps, so I don't know too much about them. But they were saying that a setting on the dating app should be find your husband in 90 days.
I said that.
Yeah?
I wish dating apps came
that was you?
with it. Yes, I wrote that.
That's where that comes from. Okay. See? It's in my head. I did watch it. See, anytime you send me the book or you send me the video, I'm consuming the content, Samantha.
Well, thank you. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I said that I wish dating apps came with a 90-day fiancé setting. I think they should. I mean, look, for thousands of years, we've been either getting married through familial negotiations or through peace treaties between villages and tribes, or we've been married off for diplomacy as women. We've been married for all kinds of reasons. And, we forget that just a few generations ago, like, I think my mom was the first woman in my family to actually choose a husband. That's a relatively new thing. And, that also brings up the debate, well, maybe it's not such a great system, or maybe we're not doing such a great job of choosing partners for ourselves, because if we were, then so many people wouldn't be divorced. And sometimes, okay, I'm going to say something outrageous.
Please, this is the platform to do it.
I am all for the practice of arranged marriages.
Me too. I love that idea. Get arranged marriage, ladies.
I don't mean, and so I'll just clarify, that I don't mean that a woman should be forced into a marriage that she doesn't want to be in. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that your elders, your tribe, your family, your friends, everyone in your sphere of influence, everyone in your social circle, they know you. They've been knowing you for a while. They know you better than anyone else. And don't you think that all of those people have friends and cousins and sisters and aunts and brothers, and right? They have people. They have nephews, grandfathers. I mean, you just have to ask everybody you know. It's one of my favorite techniques.
Hey man, I might be asking you soon, Samantha. I might be going through you.
I don't know if I would feel good about sending any girlfriends of mine your way, Chris.
And let's discuss why. Okay, so let's kind of lay out the dating field of what I am looking at today, and then you can kind of give us why it became this way, right?
Sure.
So I remember being in college, right? And everyone on 5-Star knows me, Tez, all men in general. We like multiple girls. We date multiple girls. We'd rather have more than one chick. We would never commit to one girl. It's either you are going to be one of many, you'll never be the only one. And even if she was a virgin, you'll just move her up higher in the hierarchy of the attention that you would give her, right? And men have been like this since the dawn of time.
Sure.
And male sexuality is the most repressed sexuality in the modern day for whatever reason, right? We have a bunch of boss lady mentality, right? Like the CEO boss wife, or women pretend that they were oppressed when they were never oppressed, and then they get it in their heads that they're being oppressed and that there's a wage gap, which is a complete myth and it never ever happened. And with these psychological, like, propaganda-based mentalities, women are positioning themselves to be more masculine. And with, like, the advent of the dumb all-American guy who's, like, very dumb stereotypically in media,
Yeah.
he is more likely to be submissive and agreeable and overly agreeable with his wife or, like, the girl he's dating. And he's being agreeable outside of his frame to the point where he's really just there to get a little bit of sex.
Oh,
So let me go a little further into that,
Sure.
right? So now that was kind of like the setup around, like, I want to say like the 80s or 90s. Now, fast forward to like the 2000s, 2010s, right?
Yes.
I'm in college. There's girls that I like, and there's a lot of them, and it's getting good, and I have all these different options around me. And then one year, OnlyFans starts popping off. And then I see the very girls that I'm standing next to, the ones that I'm like kind of debating on bringing into my little area.
Yeah.
They're on OnlyFans and they're selling their body. So I'm immediately not only repulsed by them,
Yeah.
I'm not only disgusted at them, but I consider them a joke because their sexuality is being sold online. I would never take them serious for what I'm trying to do, which is offer the relationship, which only comes from a man, whereas sex only comes from the women. So now, that's my personal experience, but like now let's kind of fast forward to what is happening. What is happening is that kids that are young, men that are young, they're in high school, they're in college right now.
Yeah.
And college for me, that was like 10 years ago, but like college right now, there's over some 0.4 million chicks on Instagram, on OnlyFans right now. So commoditizing your sexuality and being a digital whore, a digital prostitute has become so accepted culturally as a way to break down everything that's good about America.
Why would you, as a woman, want to package yourself like a fast food hamburger? I mean, kind of sad.
Well, I think that what is happening, I mentioned this to you before, it's
Yeah.
kind of like a demoralization of society.
Well, yes, and you said something that struck a nerve with me earlier about the boss lady mentality, and women have developed this boss lady mentality because men have become so disappointing.
Yeah, no, and I when I come up and I approach women, especially for this show,
Yeah.
the very first thing that I told you that I'm hearing, men are too soft, and then there's different
They
caveats
don't know how
on
to
there.
date
There's
a woman.
not like
They don't know
romance.
how to take care of a woman. They don't know how to woo a woman. They don't know how to court a woman. They don't know how to bring out all of the love and warmth and fun and excitement and companionship and depth of one's soul that a woman has to offer. And I feel like a lot of, especially, educated, career-minded women, especially, we are in a world where we've had to take care of ourselves because, well, no more arranged marriages, or two, we've become so distant as a community, as a society, that there's no way to safely meet appropriate candidates to create a life partnership with. And so maybe you can talk to your priest or your rabbi or your parents, your grandparents. I always say ask everyone, start there. Your people know you best. But so many men just fall short. And so I say we as women had something to do with this problem. And I am urging women out there with male children, please teach your sons how to date properly, because that makes
Women can't
all
do that.
the
Men have
difference.
to do that.
Well,
men have to teach their sons.
But I think women can too.
No,
I think women
they can't.
as women, that women are able to say, you know what, when you take a woman out, you pick the restaurant, you open the door, you create a plan, there's a plan, and that you are opening the doors and pulling out the chairs, and you're asking her what she would like to order, and then order that for her so that she is not speaking to anyone but you.
Yeah. So let me kind of circle back to the full thing that I'm laying out here so we could loop that back in, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, with the sexuality, girls are commoditizing it. They're selling themselves for like $3.99, $14.99 on OnlyFans, right? So they're commoditizing their sexuality, making them absolutely worthless to most men that are taking dating seriously, right? Yeah. And then on the men's side, they are literally, if they're going to be true about their sexuality, completely the underdog, right? Mm-hmm. All of you are so happy to be okay with the LGBT community. You're so happy for gay people to be gay. You're so happy for lesbians to be lesbians. You're so happy for trannies to be trannies. But when straight men lay down what they want from a sexual relationship with a woman, which is to be territorial of the woman and say, this is going to be my woman. She works for me. She does what I say. I don't want my woman to be a career woman. I don't want my woman to go out there and use her education against me. I want her to be my woman, take my last name for a reason. As soon as a man lays down boundaries, then society teaches women today to push back on those boundaries, use words like you would use and call it dangerous when it's not dangerous. Women are not in danger in any way when it comes to dating, if for the most part, because men want to do nothing but build homes for them or like bring them in and show love to them and provide a way for them to live, right? It's just a mentality warp that's been happening lately.
Because we haven't had proof in a long, long time that men actually know how to take care of women and are happy to take care of women. I hear horror stories from girlfriends that tell me that they went out on a date and the guy actually suggested they split the check. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
You're not a 5-star man. We tell you guys to make sure that you are, if you're going to ask a girl out, pay for everything, take care of everything, because you're asking her out. You should be able to do that. 100%. But there is that isn't absent from the dating market, right? Because there are well-off men, right? There's classes to dating, right? There's the higher tier where the women are happy to share one man at a time because they find these men to be at the top of society. So like, basketball players or Trey Songz or celebrities or the Justin Biebers before he got married to Hailey Biebers of the world. The women are Chris Brown. They're more than happy to share all these guys at the upper echelon of society as per female nature. Now, when it comes to monogamy,
but none
there's
of the
so
guys
many
that
men.
you have just mentioned are appealing to, I think, women like myself in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I think that women who are really, truly ladies and educated, and I know that you don't want an educated woman.
We
Chris.
do not care about your education
Yes.
at all. Your education does not make you sexually attractive. It makes you that's worthless to us.
It makes us too complicated for men, and they don't want to deal with complicated.
And actually, it makes women retarded, because if you are using your education to outplace your position, which is number 2 to a man, then what happens is that you're being dumb and you're not being a good lady. What a lady needs to do is put herself in a submissive position in a number 2 seat to the man, and if she is using her education to rival the man or be at the same level of the man or be equal to the man, that can be a problem. But the fact that, like, if you have a woman and she happens to be educated as a plus, that's great. But in 5-star, I'm telling you guys, you should be the one that's paying for her college education because you got her at a appropriate age to have her come up through you. You should be developing the woman through her entire love and career path.
But you see, that's one thing. If you are an older man and you're marrying a much younger woman, then
go for it.
Yes, fine, but then you better take care of that girl. And you owe it to her to send her to school and help her develop her future.
Through the man's last name. She's
fine.
His, right?
Look, I took my husband's last name. I took my first husband's last name. I took my second husband's last name. And by the time I got to the second husband, I have to say, the truth is I had built a career on the name of the first husband. So now I had a rebranding problem. And so I said, how about I just keep my own name and just take your name legally? and but use professionally just my name, or the name of my husband, because that's how I had been branded, and I grew a very successful business with the name of the first husband. So it was a real issue for me. So
that would feel like getting cucked, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a guy, like, yo,
So-
what the hell? She's mine now. What the fuck?
In the end, I took my second husband's name. It was the right thing to do. It made him feel good. Fine. But I also said, well, I'm going to need your help
Damn
to
right.
rebrand and to rebuild a new business, a new businesses, a new product. Like these are the things that I want to do with my life now, to take my skill sets and repackage them to help and share with a larger audience. But I'm going to need your help to do that, especially if by changing my name legally, I am now sort of wiped off the planet publicly, because I had a very high profile business. So that was a conundrum for me. But probably most women, unless they are public figures, don't have that same problem. I came with a specific problem that is for women who have had big careers, right, who are public figures, and then when all of a sudden you have to change your new name so that all of a sudden nobody knows you, and the algorithms have to, rework to pick up your last name. That's like a problem. I did feel a little bit invisible for a few years. It took some time to rebrand and rebuild and repackage.
I can imagine that was like being without an identity for a little bit. Like a little identity crisis, right?
I was having a little one. He's being so polite. I
I'm
was
gonna
having
turn
like a
the
major
AC on.
identity crisis.
But yeah, you're right.
And that was, hard. And I think that the boss lady women of the world that Chris likes to complain about will understand
None of us
what
men
it is
like
I'm
that shit.
talking about.
We hate that shit.
Well, it was a
Don't-
branding problem.
Okay, so with the boss lady thing, right? There's ways to do that the right way, and there's ways to do it the wrong way, right? Like here, I told you about my show. I'm gonna turn girls into billionaires easy, but like for example, Kylie Jenner, she did the same things that I do with a small team of chicks, but she did it with a small team of chicks. You're gonna see me here on Livestar turn these girls rich, just doing what I'm doing through marketing this podcast and doing it the way I was describing you earlier. But the thing about that is that the women will be working for me because I have a structure, and everything that they do will be onto their man. The problem with having a boss lady is that when you have, and we mentioned this in the male sexuality episode, right?
But you're young.
Yeah.
In other words,
but
let me preface that is that if you were, let's say you were 4 decades older than you are now, okay, fine. I don't begrudge you that you still want to bang your 35-year-old yoga instructor. I don't begrudge you that.
Like older than me?
I would do the same thing if I were you. Fine, build yourself a whole harem. I wish that for you. I wish for you your happiness.
well, as a Christian, I don't do harem. As a Christian, it's just being a man. A man wants multiple women. The word is men, and as a man, men like to have sex with multiple girls.
I'd like
They're all
to
the same.
tease you a little bit. I mean,
I'm just like giving you the info, but yeah, you could go ham. you don't have to worry about me. I have my feelings are like bulletproof.
You are bulletproof, I know. But so I mean, I feel like there's lots of problems. I feel like women are not the only problem. Men are not the only problem. Both sexes are
I would
part
say it's
of the problem.
100% the men's fault that society's like this. So I don't know if I could fully agree with that, but yeah, both sides are off, right?
So I tell women, if you're out on a date, just stand there like an idiot until he opens the door. This is how you teach a man to open the door. You just stand there until
I wouldn't
he
want
gets
women
it.
in that position in the first place
But he
because
doesn't get a second date, you see, because then I know he's not on my level. He doesn't know what is expected. Because if I need to open my own doors, what do I need you for?
Well, there's a couple caveats to this, right? Now, for that style of dating, that style assumed a lot of things were in place for a woman to receive chivalrous treatment.
That's right.
But let me go ahead and continue to lay out what's kind of the landscape of today, right? These women don't deserve shit. They don't deserve shit on the bottom of your shoe. And I'm going to explain why.
Because they're not nice to you. You have to be nice to them.
No, there's no lack of kindness. You know what I mean? It's a lot of interpersonal problems that are happening now, right? So here's what's going on. We have girls that are doing OnlyFans, but then we also have the rise of the digital era, right? The digital era seems to be overly consuming people's interpersonal development. So even if you are a guy and you completely have money and you work on yourself and you do become rich and you're able to command value and you go out there and you start recruiting women, you'll find that from a man's perspective, women are very flaky. Women don't commit to anything that they say. Women...
Depends on the woman. I wish for you a better quality of woman. Because
well, let me give you some numbers, right?
Anyone that knows me can tell you that I am my word. I am my word. And anyone that knows me can vouch for that. And so I feel like if you're running into a lot of flaky women, you're not running into the right quality of woman.
Well, let's kind of peel back a few layers of this behavior that you mentioned, right? The behavior that you mentioned, it's very common for people to hear a man of his word. The quality that you've adopted is amazing for the professional world. That quality that you've adopted is more of a masculine tendency than a feminine tendency. Yes, you are a girl and you are also professional. In the world, when it comes to professionalism, we love female professionals. There's no lack of them, and that's great for society. But it is not great for dating, depending on the scenario. Now, you have worked out a special situation where things are working like a perfect firing machine engine, like a car that's running just perfect.
My husband and I wanted similar things.
Yeah.
We understood each other linguistically, like we shared multiple languages together. We shared a couple cultures together, like we're both Franco-American. We share a spirituality together. We shared ideas about family values together, like our values were in line. Culturally, we were in line. Linguistically, we were in line. Now, my husband happens to be a very well-established architect. I happen to come from a family where the table was always filled with architects. So I know how to read plans, and I understand architecture, and I grew up loving architecture. And so we spoke design together. And he wanted, because he knew what he wanted, and he wanted a partner that he could do a business with. And so I said, I know what we're going to do together. We are going to renovate urban homes. We're going to have a renovation show that really shows off your incredible design and architectural skills and my interior design skills, having been an image consultant for 20 years, and how important the home and how it functions and how it reflects you and holds you and cares for you is. Like your home, it's very important. So I said, yeah, this is what we're going to do together. We're going to take my skill set of understanding entertainment and television and how to put a show together, and your skills of design and architecture and my skills as an image consultant. We're going to put them all together, and we're going to do this renovation series together, and we're going to build it into a business. And so he has his own firm. I mean, he has his own business separate from our little love project. It's a love project. And
that is going to tie into where I'm going with this in just a moment, right? But let me peel back a couple of layers.
But it's a love project that's in season 3.
Season 3. Yeah, you guys got to check out her show. She has a whole show about home renovation that she's talking about here. But for everyone in the comments that is going to talk about this later, you got to realize that we got to pull yourself out of it a little bit and go back to the general pop.
Sure.
Because with what you're describing is not the general consensus. You have too much success, and too many layers of success for that to be the most relatable way that people are kind of like experiencing life right now, right? Most people can't afford a home, so like they don't give a shit about home renovation because they can't even get the home, right?
Wait, hold on a second. Let me dial that point back, because I spent a lot of my youth and my early years and post-divorce in a studio apartment, a tiny studio apartment. and it was a rental. I didn't own it. And even if you are renting one room, that doesn't mean that you can't have clean sheets, make your bed in the morning, buy a flower, stick it in a glass of water, keep your apartment clean, put a coat of white paint on the walls. It doesn't need to be fancy. You can paint a wall yourself. It's not rocket science. I'm just saying, care about your environment, because your environment is a reflection of you and how you feel about home.
Oh yeah, no, that is important, but also to kind of like catch up to the general population. Most people aren't experiencing anything that they want to experience in terms of home. They're not able to afford. Like this is kind of showing me. I got to clue you in on some of the videos, and I have some of them saved that I want to watch with you before we do the next episode. It'll be our research links, and then we'll go in and we'll talk about these things. But I'm just gonna catch you up to speed on the perception of life right now, right?
Right.
When it comes to men feel that they're more and more excluded from society. That jobs won't pay for them. Jobs won't hire them. They're being replaced by artificial intelligence. Women are, there's a term called hoflation. I don't know if you've heard of it lately, but hoflation is the idea that you have to work 10 times harder for a girl who's worth 10 times less than your grandfather did, right? So basically, back a couple decades ago, you could be walking along the street, find a girl wearing a nice sundress, go tap her on the shoulder, and start a family with her as you walk across the street, go knock on the door of a bank and have a career for 40 years, take her, put her in your house, and have a kid, right? It's not that world anymore.
No.
What's happening now is that girls are having sex at extremely early ages, and, you know, by the time that you meet a girl who's in her 20s, she's taken decades of dick maybe, you know, or like she's been passed around so much that she can't add, she like tape, right? Like women are more like tape. Once you stick it to one surface, it's not as sticky the next time that you put it on the next surface. Yeah. It's not as sticky as the next time as you put it on the next surface.
And there's residue.
And there's a lot of residue for women, not men. So what'll happen is that the women don't see the incentive for the average guy.
So why has society made women feel so without value that they just give it away, and no one is telling them, well, let me tell you now, ladies, most men are really not worth your time, especially if you are spending time developing yourself to be the best version of yourself you can be. Like, you can be a little bit selective, and you should be really clear about what it is you want, so that you are not just whoring yourself around, so to speak.
Right. So Len, let's think about that, right? What in society is making women feel this way? Well, fuck what women feel, first of all, because they're sexually objectifying themselves, right? Women are the ones that sexually objectify themselves. Men can't do that. Men are not going up to women and forcing them like gunpoint to like wear makeup and put on a bikini and do OnlyFans, right? Women objectify themselves. So what is it in the culture that makes women turn themselves into digital prostitutes, or what is it in the culture that makes women decide to go be a boss girl? It's the fucking feminism propaganda, right? So if I got a chance to show you one of the videos that I was talking about, it shows you how the feminism propaganda push is like the root of all the problems that we're dealing with in modern society and dating. So the feminism leads to whoredom, which is why we have people like Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, right? If you do see Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, they show you that they are the end result of feminism, which was based on a Cosmopolitan magazine, where a woman can become this boss woman. Then what happens is whoredom leads to communism. Communism leads to death, right? It's kind of like an implementation that they have going on in society.
I feel like that's a little bit extreme. I don't believe that a woman who wants to have an education and is feeling passionate about something that they'd really like to build or do in their life, they shouldn't be condemned for that. And there is a double-edged sword. I mean, part of me disagrees with you and part of me doesn't disagree with you. Yes, it's true. We have a biological clock, you know, and you don't want to sort of wait until it's too late. And like I said in my show, dating in your 40s is like constantly listening to your ovaries scream last call at the bar. You know, so it's true.
We don't want to date you in your 40s seriously at all. We don't give a shit about you anymore. You're off the market. You don't matter anymore.
Well, I mattered, and I found husband number 2 in my 40s.
Again, you're an outlier. It's not, the average person isn't going to be able to figure out how to navigate the dating landscape.
I'm an outlier because I worked on myself and because I try to put
Super
the best
outlier.
version of myself forward in the world, because I can sleep when I'm dead. And so if life is one time around, I want to really, truly try to be the best possible version of myself I can be. Do I hit that mark all the time? No. I mean, like, I could lose a few pounds. I'm not perfect, but I try. Look, people used to say to me, well, you're not beautiful, so since you're not pretty, you have to be smart and kind and funny and nice because you're not pretty. Well, first of all, what a horrible, messed up thing to say to any young girl. But because I had that complex that I was never enough in this lifetime, I really worked overtime to try to be just enough. And in the process of trying to be just enough, I really ended up a little extra. Maybe that's why I'm an outlier. But I fought so hard to make up for all of the shortcomings by making sure that everything that I could control or everything that I could do well, I did. And I tried to be a decent human being, and I tried to be kind and polite and funny. But let's just remember that funny comes from pain. Humor comes from
tragedy.
Pain. Okay? The pie in the face is always at someone's expense.
Now, ladies, listen to this. A little bit of humility does go a long way. That's why we have Samantha on here giving you girls advice. But there is a couple caveats to the way in which the self-development thing isn't a common trait at all for the average woman. In fact, self-development...
Or for the average man, for that.
That's why we created this space, is a self-development space for men. That's why there's a brotherhood backing every move that we make. Actually, one of the dudes hit me up. Yo, shout out to my dog, Lewis. I see you, my boy. So what is happening here is that female self-development, which I'm glad that you got a chance to kind of experience any self-development. That's not a common trope for most women at all. What happens is that there is no self-development. I'm a strong, independent woman. So when a man is working on himself, right? When a man is going out there and getting money. In fact, money exists because of women. If there was no women, there would be no money, right? But when a man is building his pockets and finances up, he's looking to bring women into that. When he's buying a house, he's looking to bring women into that. When he buys a car, he's looking to bring women into that. When he finds a woman, he's looking to have kids. Right. I think that if there's a divorce between a man and a woman, she's absolutely a piece of shit, and he should get the kids, and she needs to get out of there. Because what happens is that a man is looking for a woman that's an investment in him. Now, when women do self-development in the modern day, it's not like your situation where they were calling you not beautiful. That's a little messed up in the sense that women are born with beauty.
Been
you know what I mean?
Called not beautiful, not smart, not whatever it was, never quite enough. So I just spent my whole life trying to see how close to perfection, which of course is impossible, I could be. So I really worked hard at everything that was put in front of me, which I think is part of what led me to become an image consultant. So I had a company for 20 years as an image consultant. It was Polished Social Image Consultants. I was considered one of the top image consultants in the world. I was a celebrity image consultant, diplomats, Fortune 500 companies, and 2 royal families. I know what I'm talking about.
Shout outs.
When it comes to branding people and companies, people, places, and things, I'm really good at analyzing a situation and then wanting to make it pretty.
So that, again, is like, that's very personal to you.
Yes,
right?
I'm sharing something personal, but I believe that I'm so tired of this world being so mediocre. Everything mediocre. Men mediocre. Women mediocre. Men lazy. Women cheap and whorish. Fast food disgusting and lethal. I'm so tired of us sort of celebrating mediocrity.
That's why I was just talking to you about a show that's going to turn it all around. Specifically, all that. Now, in this pursuit of the boss babe, right? Mm-hmm. She's usually looking to be independent of what?
Not always.
Well, independence.
I'm very happy to be married as long as I have the right to have a
yourself
career
out of
if
it.
I choose. I'm speaking for most educated women in this country.
Definitely not. Most educated women or women in general, when they pursue independence, it's the dumbest thing ever. This is where you see a retarded woman, right? Independence is a woman being independent of men. And if a woman who is designed to be second to a man, who's designed to be for a man, who's designed, God created woman for a man. When she is outside of her position, she's illustrating how she is retarded because she will submit not to a man, but she'll use her submission for society. She'll submit to a bigger career, a bigger audience, someone else's paycheck that's another man at a larger institution in a higher hierarchy, but she won't shut the fuck up and submit to her man. And because of that, independence, where she should actually be very dependent on a man so we can have stronger families in America, this is actually where we get our power. You know, I mean, like at the moment, politically, our nation is fucked up. And we're not, as Americans, from what I'm seeing on the outside looking in, nothing is going the way that I thought it was going to go. And because of that, what I'm seeing is the only power that you really have, and this is a whole other topic, the most power that you have is to not vote, and the most power that you have is to build your own families at home. But a man can't go and build his family if the woman is going to say, fuck it, I'm going to go be independent. I don't care what you bring to the table. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Well, I am suggesting an alternative happy medium, if you will. So I'm going to say something that all of the feminists out there are going to crucify me for. Here it goes. I never asked to be liberated because it is a burden and it's complicated. However, all I ask is the right to an education, the right to drive, the right to vote, and the right to have a career if it amuses me. There, I've said it out loud.
Yeah, so with the female voting thing, right?
Oh dear.
I mean, when you do this enough, you'll see that, like, if you ask a girl, name 3 countries, which I'm sure you can do because you are an educated human being, right? You actually read books and done stuff, which is fantastic, right? But, like, if you ask that standard chick to name 3 countries, they can't do it. So
is that what you want? I mean, Chris, you're so smart. I mean, if she can't name 3 countries, you're going to be so bored in 5 minutes. And if you're bored in 5 minutes, what's 20 years going to look like?
I think you're missing what I'm saying here. Just hear me out. Women voting, suffrage. When this happened, women didn't want to fucking vote to begin with, right? But this was created as an idea of, again, propaganda. Because a woman voting doesn't help society at all. A man, let's say that a man chooses a political party. The woman's vote should be reflective of the man's in a relationship. If the woman is voting contrary to the man, then this man cannot run his own house. And that woman needs to get the fuck out. So it does not matter if a woman votes. It really matters if men vote, if they decide to go that way. Now, when...
I think I'll have to politely agree to disagree on this one.
Well, Kamala voters, right? Women didn't vote at all because they don't want to. It's just not a part of women's nature. There was more than enough women to put her in office, but they didn't do it because they don't care.
Well, I don't talk politics. It's not my brand.
Voting is politics.
Well, I know, but it's not my brand to discuss politics. You know, it was well, I didn't vote for Kamala because I didn't like where she stood on some issues that were near and dear to me. And I am not, and I'll just say this, I am not a Republican, I am not a Democrat, I'm an independent. And that's all I'm going to say. So I prefer to analyze the facts and study and research myself, the issues, and formulate with my own little female mind my own opinion. And I think that as a human, I should have the right to do that.
Yeah, I mean, none of that is contrary to dating, and nothing I'm saying impedes human values. This is about just dating values, right?
Yeah.
So I know
But
usually
you were
that gets
complaining about a woman's right to vote.
It's not about complaining about her right to vote. It's that it's useless. It's that women's suffrage doesn't help anything. It, in fact, in the world of dating, it's counterintuitive. It could be counterintuitive to a man, or it just duplicates what the man is already voting for. So, like when I am saying that most women today, when you do these panels, they can't name 3 countries, it's like, dude, why should they be able to vote if they can't even name 3 countries? Our education is at an all-time low. So you are...
But a lot of men can't name 3 countries.
You'd have to show me that. I could show you every single night on other podcast panels when they do this stuff, women can't name 3 countries. That's like a common thing.
I have spoken to so many men that don't know where countries are on the map. And personally, I find it sad and slightly terrifying that the equality of education in this country is so poor. Like, how can we be the richest country in the world with such a poor education system? I have my theories, but...
Is it propaganda?
No, it has to do with, a little bit propaganda, right? Because history shows us that one of the best ways to rule a nation is to keep everybody dumb and dependent on you, and then you have control. Now, this is a very large country. It requires and relies a lot on a military presence, and for a country this size, that requires a large military. And if you are, if you've got options in life, why would you want to be cannon fodder? So, if you keep people dumb, then they're happy to either stay on the farm and grow the food that the country needs, or to enlist in the military because you promised them some financial aid towards college credits or whatever, and so they enlist because they have no choices and they're not educated enough perhaps to get into other institutions of higher learning. So yeah, why would anybody who is really well educated want to be cannon fodder? They don't. They go to school, and then if they then want to enlist, they come back as a captain, because they've been to school. So, but a lot of youth from out of the cities or out of the country sides don't really have options. So that's one way to make sure your military is fully stocked. I really don't talk about politics, but you have me going tonight, Chris.
Dating does lead back to politics, right? So I'll kind of push all this in a nice little package here. When it comes to dating, and dating sometimes leads to politics, I could say this: Kamala Harris, you were a stupid fucking idiot. Joe Biden, you were an idiot. You guys were completely retards. I voted for Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, you are actually fucking up right now with the Epstein files. So you know what? I'm done with all of you guys. Fuck all of you. You could do your own thing. We're Americans here. We're going to build our own future. We're building our own country, and we're taking it into our own hands. I don't have time for your political bullshit. We're out here making shows happen.
Yeah.
Now, intelligence, right? Intelligence is a very important thing with dating too, because for women, it is a requirement that the man is more competent than the woman. That no woman wants to date a man that's dumber than her. But with men, we don't fucking care. If you have no education, you could probably think of some girls right now that are on a yacht, on a boat with millionaires, and no, they couldn't be any smarter than a 5th grader, but they're dumb and they're hot and they have sex. Now, when I do this male sexuality episode that we were just talking about, what women fail to fucking realize is, for men, sex is respect. When a woman is going out of her way to have sex with her man every single night, or whatever his like personal appetite is, blowjobs in the morning or whatever he needs, if she doesn't understand that sexuality is the key to him getting respected by her, she's effectively useless. So her education does not matter, because I guarantee you there is never a point. This is something I don't know if you realize. We never want to fucking hear women talk. We don't give a shit what women have to say. Sex, silence, and sandwiches. I've never had a conversation with a woman where I looked back at our conversation and I was like, oh my God, man, I had such a stand-up conversation that made me more wealthy, more trained, more better to be a man. There's nothing that there's no conversation you're gonna have with a woman.
I feel so sorry for you, Chris.
The shame, insult. Yeah, I know you're gonna have to shame, but just hear me out.
No shame. Truly, my heart bleeds for you.
Don't worry about it, because I have, again, what I need as a man and what every man needs is sustenance from other men. You need to be able to have men that are going to level you up. You need to be able to have men that are going to put you in the right frame of mind for business. Men that are going to help you with dressing well, be in tuxedos, or the conversation that we were referring to earlier when it comes to planning out arranged marriage. All the qualities that you need for a younger boy to understand how to treat a woman comes from a man. Men need to understand the opposite sex, but women are operating in life right now with having no understanding of the opposite sex whatsoever. When I do these episodes and I talk about the basic requirements of what women need to do to understand men understand women, but women don't give a fuck about how men feel.
Well, I think it's the fault of women, because ultimately the mothers of male children should really raise their sons to be gentlemen.
You do know that the single mother is the mother. Single mothers raise all the criminals.
I'm not talking about single. I didn't say single.
I was trying to
I just
figure that out.
said mom. So I think that you can be married and have a son and be in a married household, but since the husband is often working jobs and maybe she has chosen to stay home while her children are developing and in school,
as it should be.
And I tip my hat to women that love that life and want that life and do that life. You are the heroes of humanity, truly. So I am asking you, because as women, I don't think we have the right to complain about how men behave when we raised them. I'm just saying.
No, I can agree with that, but that also kind of feels like a parenting thing, right? Wouldn't you want, in this scenario, the way that you're laying it out, the man, you would want the husband and the wife to raise the kids with like good morale value that demonstrates like a really good America, right? You want to implement them with as much morality as you give them.
But if your husband is never around because he's working, and so many men in this country work 2 jobs, and by the way, shout out to the troops. I don't want to confuse what I said earlier about all of the young men out there that sacrifice their lives for the country's well-being and safety. No, you are everyday heroes, and I tip my hat to you. I just want to make sure that when you enlist, it's because you want to, not because you feel like you have no options. That's a different thing. Right. I want you to serve this country because you want to serve this country.
Yeah, and I've actually had people that I know in the Brotherhood that have completely left the military because it was too LGBTQ. It was too gay. They couldn't stand it anymore. They had to leave because of all the initiatives that they have in the military to make it softer and softer, which is more propaganda, which leads back to the schools having propaganda. And all of the propaganda is to push male sexuality down. What is male sexuality? As I've described with you, men out the womb, as soon as they're born, want to seed every woman that they see. They want to have sex with every single girl. Not one single girl is more special or more unique than they think. There's no such thing as a unique woman. All we want to do is collect our women, right? We want to have a collection of women. And that's how, if men can operate at their truest peak, if they could operate at their truest form, they would be collecting women. And women are so ego-filled to now that they think, oh my God, even though I'm beautiful, he's still cheating on me. No fucking shit. He's having sex with other women because you're not enough for him and you never will be because he craves sexual variety.
And because she can't hold an intelligent conversation.
We don't care about the conversation.
I'm
because
sorry,
here's the
I
thing.
disagree. Because if a woman was so fascinating and so riveting and fulfilled your soul and was exciting to talk to, you would feel differently.
That she'd be sucking your dick. That is what makes men feel like that. If a blowjob could do that, not her words. We don't give a shit what women say. We care about her sucking that dick and pretty much nothing else. We want to have sex with her. If she wants to talk about something, she should talk about what meat she's putting on a sandwich for me. I don't give two shits what she has. In fact, if you watch...
Where's the love?
Hold on.
Where's the romance?
The blowjob is love. The fucking sandwich is romance. Like, for example, when I was on Fresh and Fit, right, there was a girl who I'm sitting next to. You could watch this. You could watch the playback, right? She's a blonde girl. She's sitting right next to me on a podcast, and she just kept fucking talking. And you could see all my masculinity literally tune her out because I didn't want to hear that shit anymore. Because as men, there's scientific studies on this. Men don't want to hear women. And people say this all the time. You find the most peace when there's silence in the home, because men, I want you to know, you're genuinely confused on this. Men don't want to hear women talk for shit ever. We are tolerating that because we want you to suck our dicks.
Okay, there's no need to yell in my ear, but I do get what you are saying. I am just saying that, and maybe it's a generational difference. Maybe it's because I'm from a time that's pre-internet, because, by the way, tomorrow is my birthday.
Yo, happy birthday.
Thank
Shout
you.
out. She's turning 21, my guys. You know what I'm saying?
21.
Hit her up on IG. Wish her a happy, beautiful birthday.
Thank you. Yes, forever 27. And
21.
21. And so I am from a different time, and I come from a time when communication and conversation was considered game. Like, could you talk to a woman? Could you excite her with your mind? Could you get her into your ideas? And that conversation can really be exciting and bonding and binding, and can actually lead to a lot of hot sex and adventure.
That's arousing for women, not men. Like, for example, the 50 Shades of Grey book, it's
Yes.
like a porn through women's ears. Women get off to an application called Wattpad now, where Wattpad is where they do all the audio things, and women are auditorily stimulated sexually. Men don't give two fucks about that. We don't want to hear you.
Well, yes, that's why women are always like, talk to me. And men are like, show me your tits.
Yes, show us the tits. We don't give a fuck about your words at all. Keep it to yourself.
So, I understand, but, sometimes you have to make us believe.
If you want to talk to me, tell me about another girl you're bringing into my bedroom. We don't give two fucks what you have to say unless it's more sex. You know when I want to have sex with another girl is usually when I'm having sex with a girl. The second that I'm having sex with a girl, I'm already imagining the next 10 girls, because all guys are exactly the same biologically from birth. This is how men are, always. And I think that it's important to acknowledge that, right? Because what's happening is that society is getting weaker and weaker and weaker because men are not able to do what men need to do from just the roots of their sexuality. Men are condemned for everything in society. If you have an opinion about women, you're bad. If you don't have an opinion about women, you're soft. If you have any opinion, you lose anyway, right? It's just like no matter what men do, it's going to be backfiring on them. But women in society can basically do no wrong. If she's an independent woman, if she's a whore, if she's a boss bitch, if she's conservative, no matter what she does, she's perfect. And if you have any backlash towards women's behavior, you're the bad guy. So you can't critique women. You can't tell them what to do. You can't tell them anything. No matter what you do as a man, you're wrong.
As long as you don't tell us to calm down.
Well, assuming that the man gets that far to even have a relationship where he can have a woman to tell to calm down to in the first place, because what's happening is, I think, I've mentioned this before, I think there's a little bit of chemical warfare in place stopping humans from having sex with each other, but mostly, there's a huge decline in sex. Like, me and him literally know a 28-year-old virgin. Shout out to my dog, Dantes. You know, my fucking co-host of 5 Stars in the building. That's my fucking guy. Follow him at _Tez right now. You know my dog's a legend. You know what I'm saying? He's operating the cameras in the back and shit.
Shout out to Dantes. It's really my pleasure to be on this show with you, and I always enjoy are often very heated discussions, and and we can politely agree to disagree, and that's okay because.
Is there anything that you disagree with so far?
Well,
like give me one.
Well, it really doesn't matter. I know that you want to have multiple women, and I don't blame you. If I were a man, I would do the same. Hey, if it were a freer world and I could have 2 husbands, I would. One that stimulates my mind, and somebody who's a great dancer, and sometimes somebody's in the mood to go out, and sometimes somebody isn't. And that way, you'd always have company. It'd be a 3-income household. There are benefits. I am just sort of
4 or 5 or 6 or 10 or 8. Whatever.
Just, poking the dragon right now, right? But I'm just saying it. Look, I know that I'm an outlier, as you say, and okay, if I'm an outlier, so be it. But I know that.
That's why we have you on the show. We need advice from all angles.
I say I'm just fed up with mediocrity. And you men,
describe it for us.
You men out there and you women out there who you say you want this and that and the other, and you think it's due you, but you're not willing to do the work, and you're happy to be mediocre, and that makes me sad. And it goes back to making your bed in the morning, doing your laundry, standing up straight, doing some push-ups and sit-ups every day, eating your spinach, being a decent human being, being kind towards others, and trying to better yourself, not just in your financial situation, but your mind, to elevate your mind, because we have one life. You have the rest of your life when it's over to sleep. So while we are on this earth, I think it is our responsibility as humans who have been given the gift of life, and that if you do, especially if you do believe in a higher power,
God,
or whatever that
God,
is to
or
you.
You're going to hell.
I will just we call it God, a higher power, however you refer to the powers of the universe. We can agree that I do. I'm not saying I don't believe in God. I do believe in God. I'm just trying to that's my personal belief. But I know for some people out there, it's more of a higher energy. But anyway, that's not my point. My point is, if you do believe in a higher being, and we have been given this gift of life, and we don't know if there's an afterlife. We can only assume that we have this one. And so it really is our responsibility to be the best human we can be, and to appreciate the earth that we have been given the privilege to experience, and to make it better than it was before we leave this earth, and to leave something positive behind, to leave a positive legacy behind. But while we're still alive, I think we need to learn the world, understand the world, explore the world, appreciate the world, and that's not just through travel, that's through books, that's through conversations, that's through connection with other human beings. And I know that I'm running out of time soon, but this is really important to me. I feel like people waste their lives. And as I was saying earlier, I am from a time that is pre-internet, and so we used to talk to each other.
They had to. That was a beautiful time in life for the human dating.
Had to talk to us. Whether you like female conversation or not, Chris, you had to talk to us.
None of us like it, but we do it.
You had to flex your linguistic muscles and have your talk game on, because that's how seduction used to happen. It wasn't just about your biceps. It was about your charm. And could you, because like I said, women are always talk to me, and men are like, show me your tits. So that's okay. But you had to come with your verbal game on, your verbal skills, and we got to talk. And now people sometimes they don't leave their apartment for days at a time without seeing another human.
It's crazy,
and so
but true.
all all of the problems, so many, I shouldn't say all, but so many of the problems that we are experiencing as humanity is because we don't communicate anymore.
Now, we've laid out a lot of groundwork here, right? I've been able to talk about, and you've been able to talk about similar things in dating. Men, women pretend that men are not designed to be sexually promiscuous.
My cousin Emma Hyman, hey honey.
Women pretend that they are supposed to be the only one to men. Women pretend that they should be the only one that a man picks, that they are a princess. Now, what this all has been leading to is that you keep pointing back to mediocrity. Mm-hmm. Right? It's as if to say that the human experience in dating has become mediocre.
Because people are mediocre, and I'm not talking about their finances. Give
us men and women. How are they being mediocre in dating?
I don't want anyone to get it twisted, because you can be a goat herder and be a prince, and I do mean that. So it has nothing to do with your...
Like Jacob and the coat of many colors.
Yeah,
hey,
it has nothing to do with your economic circumstance. It has to do with how you present yourself in the world and how you interact with the world around you.
Give us some sauce. How can men or women present themselves to be better at dating? Give us some ideas.
Well, in order to be a better dater, you have to be a better human.
Sauce.
Sorry, I'm going to lay it out flat. I'm going to lay it out flat. To have a better dating game, you have to be a better human.
Now, what I think that we're seeing here, right?
I'm tough, I know.
Yeah, you got to be, right? With women, I can give you just like personal experience. How many women do you think me and Tess have talked to since the last time you've seen us?
Oh, hundreds, I'm sure. You guys are out there. I know it. You are hunting.
And we can tell you.
Yes.
That am I tripping at all by saying that the women have a lack of personality or a lack of responsibility or a lack of showing up and not being flaky? How many business cards have I passed out? You know what I mean? Like, how many numbers have I gotten? Like, how many fucking text messages do you send out where there's no real
connection?
Because
people don't know how to communicate.
And now, keep in mind,
people don't know how to communicate because there's no conversations anymore, because everything is online and AI and text, and to have a phone call you have to ask like someone's permission. Can I call you? And actually, let me just say, Chris, one of the things that I appreciate about you so very much, even though we disagree sometimes about some very important things, but I really appreciate you as a human and as a friend, because I know that, even when I'm not in Florida, when I'm living my other life in New York, and I know that I can call you, and we sometimes chat for a half an hour, and we have great conversations for a man that says he hates conversation, and how wonderful that is, and I really appreciate you.
Well, yeah, no, we do have great conversations, and again, you're a very good professional. I appreciate you. You've been mentioned on this show many, many times to the point of fruition, right?
Aww.
But like, if I was dating you, right?
I'm just sending love.
And I'm like trying to have sex and you want to keep talking, I'd rather you shut the fuck up so I could get on to having sex with you. You know what I mean? That's completely different than innovativeness or creativity.
Sure.
Now imagine that you have those as add-on bonuses to a woman. That'd be fantastic. But, as I was illustrating with Tez, tall, rich, handsome, got all this stuff going for him.
Tez is a total catch.
He has all the components. All the boxes are checked off for most people most time. And when I go out with him, sometimes I'll tell him to go up to the girls that I see, because I can see what he can't see. I see the girls that are checking him out. So when I see the girls that are checking him out, there's no matter how many boxes you check off, no matter how much attraction there is, no matter how much sex has been had, connections don't form, because the human beings just ain't shit on like a huge level, right? And that goes for all the men watching this show. We know that you ain't shit. We're doing everything we can to level you up. But the women, oh my God, the ain't shitness of women on this dating field is so predominant that right now we did an episode on why 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030, right? And that's a 2-year-old statistic. It's leaning towards half of the women will be single and childless by 2030, ages 25 to 44. So that means not only do I need to have multiple women, but you women are so fucking mediocre. If I take 8, 9, or 10 of you and build a house out of you and build an empire out of you, there's still going to be an entire fucking generation of women that are out on the street that no men wanted, and all we want to do is have sex with you, and you're making it so hard to do this simple thing.
Oh, wow. With the state of the world, you just scared me, Chris. I'm going to have nightmares about the future of humanity. Oh, dear.
So I don't think we actually disagree on anything, because it's just realities. Whether or not you like the reality is different. But I don't think I've said anything that you disagree with.
No, I mean, not to varying degrees. I mean,
I just don't think that you would like maybe to share your husband or to share. Is that what turns you off when I say that? Like, for example, I'm telling you girls, you don't have to share me.
It doesn't.
You don't have to share me.
It doesn't turn me off when you say you want multiple partners, multiple wives, multiple lovers, multiple mothers of your children. I am not afraid of that. I understand that for a lot of men who may or may not be as honest about it as you are, I think that, deep down inside, that on some level men wish to find a woman and hunt her down and mate with her, and that you want to have more partners, as many concubines as you can. And hey, I tip my hat to you. I do not deny anyone their dream, and it is a lofty dream. And hey, I'm wishing you all the power in the world and love and luck in that endeavor. And I know that there's someone for everyone out there, and I know that there are women who will love you, adore you, and appreciate you, Chris, because you are a very nice guy, you're a very articulate guy, and underneath the dominant exterior, I know that you have a soft spot, and that you do value family, and that you want to make children, and you want to be happy, and you want a balance. And I know, as you keep reminding me, I'm an outlier, but if I'm an outlier, let me just share how delicious it can be to be an outlier. Because
if you guys want self-development, you're going to have to read your book, man.
And I know I have to wrap this up so that I, can go and actually have dinner with my husband, who was kind enough to make a pre-birthday dinner date with me, sort of as a reward for having this podcast with you, which I really love. So I can say this. I love my husband, and we have a wonderful relationship in every aspect, right? We share values, we share goals, we share dreams, we share projects, we share deep, meaningful, lengthy, constructive, hot conversations, and we also have our intimacy, our physical and emotional intimacy. And I feel that I am extremely fortunate as a woman, because I managed to be fortunate enough to have found love again in my life. And love is a gift.
She has a book on it. You guys got to check it out.
Please check out my book. It's on Amazon. It is a humorous self-help book to help you find your person.
And also, on the topic of monogamy, we're not denying that there's men out there that would love monogamy. Like I said, there's dudes at Walmart right now that would love some monogamy. Dudes at Starbucks that would love some monogamy. If you women are willing to lower your standards, there's so many monogamous men out there. Dudes in construction, dudes who are doing offshore drilling. They would love some monogamy from you ladies, but it's just not happening.
My husband is a very upscale, highly educated, successful man, and he only has eyes for me. What can I tell you?
if you were out of the picture, could he replace you?
Nope.
But like, could he get another woman?
I don't know.
Is he capable of getting another woman with
course.
those accolades?
Of course, he's smart. He has a full head of hair. He has a sense of humor. He's an intelligent, talented, successful man who has a sense of humor and can be very fun when he wants to be fun. And so, could he replace me if I were to leave him? I'm sure he could, but I am not leaving. And he will tell you that when he met me, he knew.
Right. So that kind of shows that if a man does reach a certain area and these areas are attractive for women, women are willing to share. Like, he's at a spot where another girl would come in and be like, yo, I'm getting these benefits. So that kind of shows you guys, like, in life, there's almost like classes to dating. When you reach a very high spot in dating, you've done a lot of self-improvement, you've got your money up, you've done a lot to make yourself better, you now command power. You can literally say, look, my way or the highway. My way of dating is going to include you doing what I say when I say it. You do the dishes, you shut the fuck up when I'm talking, you do business when I say that you do business. And if I'm going to have a threesome tonight, you're going to make it happen. She either complies or she goodbyes. Now, if you're working a construction job, that in a woman's eyes, that might lower your status. Even though a plumber, let's say, a plumber's making a whole lot of fucking money, but a girl hears the word plumber, she doesn't understand that he could be making damn near $200K a year, you know, and that's a pretty good way to make that's a pretty good salary for most people. Yeah. And, you know, there's plumbers that I've even met here in Florida that have hit 7 figures, you know, so that's good. But when you're lower in the dating scale, she's going to be less attracted to you, so you can't command being the man that you want to be. You might only qualify for monogamy. But nonetheless, we are going to continue this conversation in another way at another point in time, because guess what? Samantha went out of her way to come from New York to come here on the 5-Star live stream with you guys. She came out of her way from her beautiful, beautiful condo over here in Miami. She went out of her way to dress nicely for you guys. She went out of her way to include us as a part of her birthday celebration. She's about to go have a fantastic, romantic, well-informed, highly educated conversation with her love of her life.
It's also romantic. But, you know, I didn't go out of my way to dress. I dressed because I feel like that's just the right thing to do.
Hell yeah.
Like, you go to somebody's house, I'm not going to show up in, like, flip-flops and my hair disheveled. No, I'm going to, like, put my best foot forward, and I'm going to say, like, oh, Chris Dantes, thank you so much for your very kind hospitality to invite me over to your place for, you know, to be on your podcast and have these wonderful, highly charged conversations with you. The minimum I could do is, like, you know, put some lipstick on and find a dress to wear. I feel like that's the minimum I could do. And I dress because I just feel like I said, I want to put my best foot forward in the world.
You hear that shit, LaQuisha? That's why you're single. If you listen to Samantha, maybe you'll have a man too. So, look, I'm very glad that you got a chance to come through and talk to us about 90 days on how to find husband number 2. And I am very, like, the place that Samantha's in, you know, she's 21, but I want you guys to, like, consider that you're going to turn 21 one day as well. Yes. And I want you to be in a romantic place. I want you to have another human being in your life. I want you to have romance with your partner. There is nothing better than the title of this episode, Sex, Love, and Romance. There's nothing stronger than humans building out their own territory, building out their own home, building up their own last name, building up their own morality, building up their own family values. America's here for that, and we are really on our own. We are really on our own at this point in time in America.
We really are.
You have to make it the best.
You know what? Next time we get together and talk, you know what I'd really like to talk about?
Tell me.
I'd like to talk more about romance and sex.
We're going to do a romance and sex episode. It's probably going to be at the place that I was showing you.
Love. I want to talk about love. Let's talk about the hard L word.
You can only get it on 5-Star, man. Listen, there are so many people that I've met down this journey that are so devoid of love. We need that. We need to pump some of that back into the culture.
It's easy to say, well, I want a man to be this and that and do this and that, and I want a woman to be subservient and do this and do that and do as I say or hit the highway. But I want to talk about the soft, squishy stuff. I want to talk about the love, the sensitivity, the things that bind us, the love.
Yeah, man. You and me are gonna do that. I also wanted to do that with your friend, but I guess she's stepping out, man. I don't know what the flakiness is about.
She's not flaky. She's a busy single gal, just working.
Sounds
you
like
know.
some bullshit to me.
Hey, women have to survive, especially when they're not married. It's a tough world out there to be all alone in the world. As a woman, is tough.
Put on your makeup and blow somebody. Blow the right guy. You won't have to be alone anymore.
The problem is that women keep blowing off the wrong men, and that's the problem.
That is the problem.
Having said that, I'm going to wish you all so much love. I have to sign off and go back to my domestic life.
Yo, you guys, where can they find you and where can they follow you? What's the Instagram account?
My Instagram is Samantha Bessudo Drucker.
And what are some of the upcoming projects we can look forward to?
So I hope to be releasing this book in Spanish, French, and voiceover in the coming year 2026.
Your
And
voice? You're going to say it
Yeah,
in all
I'm
languages?
going to narrate my book.
Samantha, I'm glad that you said that.
And it's going to be exciting and fun. Also, in the fall, I have another show about dating that includes a comedy set and includes a live Q&A about dating, and that will be coming up sometime in the fall in New York. But meanwhile, you can get my book on Amazon. You can also get it on my website, which is samanthabessudodrucker.com. You can also check out my other projects there, like Love and Design Project, Samantha's Kitchen, my book, some of my favorite shopping finds. And if you want to reach out to me, I can be reached at Samantha@socialimage.net.
Hell yeah, this is the second time that you've seen her on the show, but it for damn sure ain't the last time. And before I sign off, I need my dog Dantes, bro. Can you shout out the people real
and
quick?
shout out to divagalsdaily.com, and shout out to Yvonne Forbes, the publicist with the mostest, and shout out to my husband and my whole team. Shout out to Caitlin. You are all very dear to me. And shout out to one of my coaches and mentors, Kevin Scott Allen, and what a beautiful life. And I appreciate both of you, Dantes and Chris, so very much, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Hell yeah. Yo, you guys are blessed to get some of this from this episode.
Hello.
Hey.
Now, shout out to Samantha she's a good sport as well. She always brings great energy and good vibes to the podcast. I know our views are just fucking harsh as fuck, and I know she in her head she's so nice, but she's like these fucking guys, and there's so much that she does. I believe that's in her that she just doesn't. She's like, I just want to sit but she keeps it ladylike and very cordial and respectful. So I can do nothing but respect that. So
100%.
appreciate her for coming out. Yeah.
She probably prints out pictures of us and throws darts at it like these guys. Damn you.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Thank you.
Yo, literally, thank you. Shout out.